Alright, so this right here is our Tabletopia demo. And today or tonight what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to demo uh, the information on Tabletopia about how to play the game. So I'm going to tell you guys how to play the game, the different types of cards that are in the game, and kind of explain a little details about the game too. So this is going to be very helpful for backers as well as potential backers, especially if you're not exactly sure what the game is or how to play the game, then this is going to help you out. So we're already loaded up. We're on Tabletopia. So what you see on the field on the field right here is a copy of every single card that would be inside the deluxe box that you guys would be getting as part of your backer rewards. Starting with the $25 reward, which gives you one of these boxes, which is a total of 209 cards. And I know it doesn't like 209 cards, but most of these cards, if you see a number right there next to the cursor, it's 2 cards of each one. So it's 2 copies of every equipment, tactic, warrior, elite warrior, and warlord that there is for both samurai and Viking inside the whole entire game, and 1 copy of each battlefield card and 1 copy of each legendary card. So it gives you a total of 209 cards inside the game to play with. This gives you enough cards to be able to make 5 separate decks and still have probably around 22 or 23 cards left over using a minimum deck size, which is 40 cards. Okay, so in this one, you're going to have 2 different types of cards for each one. You're going to have your Viking warriors and you have your samurai warriors. So as far as the different types of cards and how do you tell if it's a Viking or a samurai, there's a few telltale signs. First of all is the artwork. The artwork for Viking is going to be all Viking type warriors. It's going to have the set number down here to start with the VI, so VI is Viking, and it's going to have the Viking shield up here as well as a Viking shield right here in the main part of the image. Now, for those that do not have an effect, then the gray box is missing, and you have a much more prominent image right here that you can see even clearer. As for the samurai, same thing. You have samurai artwork. You have the samurai helmet on a lotus petal. You have the samurai shield logo over here, and you have SA, which means samurai. Now, as we get further on, we'll start releasing new, like more and more sets, and they'll each have their own lettering. For example, AZ, which would be for the Aztecs. That's one of our stretch goals. They'll have that one right there. Will be AZ for Aztecs. They'll have their own artwork and their own shield and so forth as well. Okay. Um, these cards that have the EX on them are extra, like an extra set card. So if it has the EX with the yin yang, this is your samurai. The EX with the yin yang inside of the little golden or bronze. So other thing, this is your Vikings. And the way the EX cards work, they are essentially uh, mythological cards, I guess you can say. So, for example, Hachiman, this one is a mythological deity in the Japanese code, and that's based in Japanese mythology. So that's where he came from. Whereas for Vikings, you have Hell, the world of death. This is one of the mythological Norse underworlds. This is the world of death, the world of hell. So things like that. So what we did is we looked up um, different mythologies for Japanese and some other mythologies for the Norse, and came up with some stuff that seemed pretty interesting. Researched those a little bit further to see exactly how we can fit them into the game and made an effect that fits with them appropriate to what that mythological item, equipment, weapon, or person was. So that's where you get those EX ones at. Okay. So how do you play the game? Well, you have first of all you get your 40 card deck that you can go ahead and build, and then inside the deck you're going to have your 7 different types of cards: warriors. You have your elite warriors, you have your warlords, and then you're going to have your legendary warriors. Those are your fighters. Now, aside from those, you're going to also have equipment cards, you're going to have tactic cards, and then you're going to have your battlefield cards. Those are your support cards. So 7 types of cards. Now, the way it works is that your warriors, these are your first levels. These ones, they can come on the field. They don't require any type of special requirements to bring them out. The one caveat when it comes to any of your fighters, whether it be warrior, elite warrior, legendary warrior, or even warlord, is that you can only normal deploy, or otherwise referred to as normal summon, one fighter card per turn. Now, there are ways to get more of them out there. These are special deployment kind of options, and they do exist in different decks, so it depends on how you set your deck up. But normally, only one warrior, only one fighter can be deployed to the field at a time. Now, if you look at your mat, most of you have probably never seen this mat right here, the Viking mat. Anybody who has seen us over any of the conventions is familiar with this mat because it's the same one that we have at the conventions for our samurais. The Viking ones we do not have printed, and whether or not we get them printed, that kind of depends on how well our Kickstarter goes and how much of a demand, I guess you can say, there is for having that cool mat. In any case, so if you look at the mat here, this is your kind of setup. You can do 5 fighters on your side of the field that's active, and up to 6 equipment or tactic cards on your side of the field active at a time. So you can play as many equipment and tactic cards as you want from your field, but only 6 can actually be active on the field. Okay. Then you have your battlefield and your deck area and your discard area, which is graveyard. So with the warriors, you pull out a warrior, it goes up face up attack positions, ready to go. If it kills another fighter in combat, it gets a kill counter. And if it's a kill counter, you can use dice, you can use tokens, coins, whatever you choose to use is fine. So you get a kill counter. When it gets 3 kill counters, you can sacrifice it and bring out an elite warrior from your hand. This is another normal deployment. Okay. Now, when your elite warrior has 5 counters on it, then you can sacrifice that, and you can bring out a warlord from your hand. Okay. Now, when your warlord has 7 kill counters, plus you have an elite warrior and a warrior on your field, you sacrifice all 3, and that allows you to bring out a legendary warrior. Now, once you get the legendary warrior, there is no upgrade path available because that is the highest you can get in your warriors. It's not easy to get to the legendary warrior, but there are shortcuts that exist to get you there faster if you choose to pursue those. Now, as far as your support cards go, equipment cards are played face up on the field to use them right away, or you can play them face down and use them later, and also serve as a kind of a bluff tactic because that way your opponent doesn't know if you have an equipment card there or if you have a tactic card there. So it depends. If you play an equipment card face up, then you activate its effect right away. If it has this text like this one says, where it says continuous effect, then once you play on the field, it stays on the field. It doesn't go to your discard pile unless somebody destroys it or they negate it or the effect that it's supposed to be doing is no longer valid. If any of those situations arises, then the equipment card is gone. Now, if you so choose to, you could take that equipment card and play it face down. So let me go ahead and draw one real quick, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So when you're on your field, or you have your card in your hand, you can turn it over, play it face down if you want during your turn, and you can have 6 active on the field, so that'd be one of them. But you can only flip it over and activate it face up if it is on your turn, and you cannot do it during your battle phase. So it's either before your battle phase or after your battle phase. In other words, we call those two main phase 1 and main phase 2. So if you put it face down on your field, and then you pass your turn to your opponent, you cannot activate that card until it is your turn again before you do your battle phase. Okay. Now, with the, let me see where that card is. I'll put it back where it belongs. There we go. Now, with the tactic cards, you have to play them from your hand face down first. So when you put them on the field, you cannot put them face up on the field unless you have a card that tells you you can. Otherwise, you put it face down on the field, And that same turn that you put on the field, you cannot activate it. Once your turn passes, then you can flip it over and activate it on anybody's turn during any part of the phase as long as the effect is valid. Now, just like the other one, like the equipment cards, some of them will say continuous effect, which means after you flip it over and activate it, it stays on the field until it is destroyed or the effect is no longer valid. The last card is your battlefield cards. So battlefield cards, um, with battlefield cards, only one battlefield card can be in play at any time on the field. So what that means is that if you have a battlefield card on the field and then your opponent plays a battlefield card, then your battlefield card is destroyed. Only the newest one stays. Now, some of the battlefield cards will affect everybody. For example, not that one. Actually, yeah, that one works. For example, Bushido Kegan Falls. Actually, no, this one only affects the person who owns it. Sorry. Okay. This particular one, when a Viking Elite Warrior or Warlord is deployed, its controller can destroy one face-down equipment or tactic card on the field. This is one of the ones that can be used by any player who is playing Vikings. Okay. Um, there's also other ones like, where's it at? I think this one. This one here, where all Viking warrior and elite warriors that are attacking get plus 500 attack. So if you're playing Vikings and your opponent's playing Vikings, when they attack, they also get the bonus, just like you do. And there's other ones that only can be used by the person who, or only affects the person who actually played it, or who owns that particular card. Now, for example, here, Yami, the Land of the Damned. This is one of the Japanese battlefield cards. With this one, it says whenever a warrior or elite warrior on your opponent's side of the field is destroyed by battle, a card effect is sent to the discard pile. You can place that card on top, that's not good. You can place it on top of Yomi instead of sending it to the discard pile. So when you do this, it will you put the card on top of on top of Yomi instead of sending it to the discard, and then if you want, you can pay 1,500 of your soul points once per turn during your ready phase to special deploy one fighter on top of Yomi to your side of the field. So this is one of those ones because it has a casting or it has a cost for the effect. The only person who can use it is the person who owns that card, who owns that battlefield. Okay. And yeah, that is pretty much the gist of how to play the game. Both players start off with 8,000 soul points. Your soul points is your life points. Hence the name Battle of Souls, because you're battling for the souls. So whenever you do damage to your opponent, you gain that much life points back to you. So if you deal 500 damage to your opponent's soul points, then you increase your soul points by 500 at the same time. Now, the first person to reach 16,000 soul points is the winner of the game, and that rule stays no matter how many people are playing a game. So if it's one person, or if it's two people, or if it's 20 people, the rule still stays the same. First person to 16,000 soul points wins the game. Game is over at that point. Okay. Um, there's two other rules that you might want to be aware of, but we're not going to get into that right there. I will put that into a separate video. So I want to say on behalf of No Limit Games, we want to thank all of you guys, everybody who is viewing this video, and everybody who has backed us so far, and those who are going to back us later. Thank you for the support. It is because of you that we will be able to bring this great game, this fun game, to everybody else, including yourselves. So, again, thank you, and keep an eye out because we will be doing a live demonstration of the game on Tabletopia coming up on Thursday morning. Okay. Until then.